Every day, the Philippines does more than wait. Putting together new adventures. And experiences for you to try. We're making our sites better for you to see. Cooking up new dishes for you to taste. And preparing cultural discoveries for you to feel. And we're not stopping. Because we know that you deserve more. We can't wait to welcome you.
Kumusta uwi mo dyan, anak?
Ang mga salita mangangapa magdapay kasama ka. Aking sinta, ikaw na ang tahanan at mundo. Sa pagbalik,
Uy, nakabook na pa!
mananatili na sa piling mo, mundo'y magiging ikaw. Magiging ikaw.
Halika na, sumama ka, pamasdan ang mga dala. Aking sinta, ikaw na ang tahanan ng mundo. Sa pagbalik, mananatili na sa piling mo, mundo'y magiging ikaw. Magiging ikaw. Imutin na mundo ang magkasama tayo, mundo'y magiging
A pleasant day to everyone. Welcome to the virtual ceremony of the 31st Library and Information Services Month. With the theme, Libraries Building Roads, Readers, Opportunities, Advocacies, Development, and Sustainability. My name is Rica Jane Marcelo.
And I am Jose Tomasito and Fernando, your hosts for today. Before we start, here are some reminders to our participants in Zoom. Number 1, mute your mic if you are not speaking. The host will call on people to unmute the microphone or open the camera. In order to properly view the program flow, viewing mode must be set to speaker view. When disconnected, please join the meeting room again using the same link or the meeting ID and passcode. Intermittent internet connection cannot be avoided, so please be patient if there is a delay and enjoy the program.
The event also is being broadcast live via the Facebook page of the National Library of the Philippines and streamed simultaneously at the pages of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, or the NCCA, the PTV, Philippine Public Libraries, ASEAN Public Libraries, Information Network, or the APLI, and a National Book Week Facebook page. Please like and share so we can have a wider audience reach, and don't forget to use the official hashtags, the 31st LISM, hashtag LISMonth 2021, hashtag Libraries Building Roads.
To officially begin, may I request everyone to stand up for the singing of the national anthem, to be followed by the doxology.
Bayang magiliw, pelas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manulupi, di ka pasisir. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may nilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di mandidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhati't pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
In Christ alone my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, free through the fiercest drought and storm.
What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are stilled, when striving cease, my comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand.
There in the ground his body lay, light of the world in darkness lay.
cements my destiny. The power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from his hand till he returns or calls me home. Here with the power of Christ I'll stand.
Thank you very much, the Concords, for a magnificent interpretation of the national anthem and a heartfelt doxology. So to continue, let us take a look back on the events and activities of the 30th LISM celebration with the theme Libreel. Libraries relate, engage, advocate, and lead. Let us watch the video presentation.
Today is also the launch of the official poster of the 31st LISM. The poster will be used as publicity content of the month-long celebration. Let us watch the poster reveal video.
Thank you again to the Operations Committee for preparing those videos. So we would like to acknowledge the first place winner of the digital poster making contest, John Angelo D. Pagulayan of La Salle College, Antipolo, for the official poster of the 31st LISM celebration. Let's give him a big round of applause. And now, of course, we've come to the next part of our program. So I hope everyone is very excited for this opening celebration. So let us begin this second part with a message from the President of the Republic of the Philippines, Honorable President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
My warmest greetings to the NCCA National Committee on Libraries and Information Services and the National Library of the Philippines on the occasion of its 31st Library and Information Service Month. Together, let us cultivate a knowledge, empowered and socially aware citizenry that is able and willing to contribute in strengthening the foundation of our nation. May you further promote the important role of libraries in realizing our sustainable development goals. I wish you all meaningful celebration.
Thank you very much, President Duterte. Up next is the message of Honorable Senator and Chairman of Senate Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, Innovation and Futures Thinking, Pilar Juliana Pia S. Cayetano.
My warmest greetings to the National Library of the Philippines family and all librarians and staff around the country. It is my pleasure to join you today. I love this year's theme, Libraries Build Roads, Readers, Opportunities, Advocacies, Development, and Sustainabilities. I'm just going to focus on one or two. As for readers, we know very well that reading opens our minds to the whole world. A child who has access to books, has access to life, has access to everything the world can offer. And that is what I want for every child. I chair the committee, the Senate Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, Innovation and Futures Thinking, and very much integrated in sustainable goal for education is access to books and the ability to read. We can have all kinds of learning, but they will all somehow go back to books, which is a big source of information for children and even adults. And so truly being able to develop readers is already an accomplishment in itself. And then there's sustainability. Again, because I chair the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, what I want are sustainable programs that will continue to grow our young readers into mature and adult readers that can learn, that can share information, and who can learn how to innovate with the information that they have. As the Senior Vice Chairman of the Committee on Finance, I handle the budget of DepEd and its attached agencies, and I have called for the safe opening of our libraries because I feel this is an important learning place for children and adults. So on that note, I continue to ask that you persevere in this noble task that you have. Librarians hold the key to intelligence, to discovery, to sustainable growth for our country. God bless you and stay safe.
Thank you very much, Senator Pia Cayetano. And to formally welcome us all, let us also hear the welcome remarks of our very own Director of the National Library of the Philippines, Director Cesar Gilbert Q. Adrian.
In celebration of the 31st Library and Information Services Month, I would like to commend the achievements of libraries all over the world. We have successfully persevered the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic and accomplished our duties in promoting and preserving knowledge and information. However, the purpose of the libraries does not conclude as a repository of information. Libraries partook in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals or the Global Goals. One of the Sustainable Development Goals is quality education, which is referred as SDG 4. SDG 4 is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. With this respect, libraries encourage consciousness among readers, develop medium of learning opportunities, assist in educational advocacies, support the intellectual development, and maintain information sustainability. Moreover, libraries seek to improve education by providing equal access to library resources and utilizing information and communication technology or ICT and produce responsive library services to promote literacy. Hence, in establishing local library centers and utilizing mobile library vehicles, libraries act as a facilitator in the communities and consequently determine and design appropriate measures to address illiteracy. In this manner, sustainable development goal and quality education is possibly achieved. For this purpose, the 31st Library and Information Services Month intends to develop and strengthen the capabilities of the libraries as crucial in attainment of the global goals. On behalf of the National Library of the Philippines, let us ensure that by the year 2030, with the support of the libraries, we will have achieved a better and more sustainable future for all.
Thank you, Director Adriano. To deliver the opening remarks, let us welcome the overall chairperson of this year's LISM celebration, Mr. Chad Aaron E. Diaz.
Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. It is my pleasure to formally open and start our celebration of the Library and Information Services Month for this year. Starting November 1991, by virtue of Proclamation Number 87, Series of 1991, we have been commemorating the invaluable services libraries and information centers provide for lifelong learning, research, and leisure. Now, on its 31st year, our celebration highlights the roles of libraries in the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals enumerated in the United Nations 2030 Agenda and incorporated in the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022 and Ambisyon Natin 2040. Hence, our theme, Libraries Building Roads, Readers, Opportunities, Advocacies, Development, Sustainability. Our jam-packed celebration for this month includes, of course, the various contests and activities in which we know some of our virtual audience have already submitted their entries to participate Of course, our upcoming webinars, the soft launching of our Impact Stories of Libraries in the Philippines Book 3, and the activities of various LIS organizations and divisions of the National Library of the Philippines. I'm sure that more than what will be shared later, you might also have local ways of celebrating the 31st LIS month. Hence, I am encouraging to use our official hashtags, hashtag 31st LISM, hashtag LIS month 2021, and hashtag libraries building roads as you promote and advertise your activities in various social media platforms. Sa ganitong pamamaraan, mas lalo natin maipalalaganap sa ating pamayanan ang kahalagahan ng ating mga silid-aklatan tungo sa likaskayang pag-unlad. Thank you and happy LIS month to each and everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. And now we will now proceed to the messages from our guests. Let us start with the message from the Chairman of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, Chairman Arsenio Nic Lisaso.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "No culture can live if it attempts to be exclusive." Recognizing the importance of passing down our culture, libraries, therefore, perform one of the most vital functions by ensuring that our historical and cultural knowledge remain. However, libraries are not just static repositories, they are gateways to knowledge and culture. And much like the theme for this year's Libraries and Information Services Month, they build dynamic roads, readers, opportunities, advocacies, development, and sustainability. Because a well-informed citizen is a well-equipped partner in national development. On behalf of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, I would like to commend the NCCA National Committee on Libraries and Information Services and the National Library of the Philippines for a successful launch. And I would like to invite everyone to engage in this month's celebration of libraries and information services. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Chairman Nic Lisaso. Up next is the message from the head of the NCCA's National Committee on Libraries and Information Services, Professor Salvacion M. Arlante.
Hello, everyone. November is Library and Information Services Month by virtue of Presidential Proclamation number 837, Series of 1991. It was with honor that I welcome you all to the 31st Library and Information Services Month with the theme, Libraries Building Roads, Readers, Opportunities, Advocacies, Development, Sustainability. Libraries have traveled many roads. It has adhered to the needs of our readers. It has boosted opportunities to promote literacy. It has furthered sustainability to win the challenges of times. As library and information professionals, let us walk the roads hand in hand towards one vision. Let us run through these roads with perseverance and hope that despite the trials, as long as we aim towards one mission, we will always stand. Let us not stop building roads towards betterment, innovation, and empowerment. Libraries have built many roads. Libraries have been building roads. Libraries will continue building roads. Be part of it. Join us in the celebrations. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, Professor Arlante. And now, may we call on the chairperson of the Board for Librarians, Honorable Yolanda C. Granda, to give us another message.
Warm greetings from the Professional Regulatory Board for Librarians. Welcome to the virtual opening ceremonies of the 31st Library and Information Services Month. Never do we miss this time of the year to get together, though virtually during these years that we are still battered by the pandemic challenge. Our annual gathering, be it face-to-face or virtual, serves to create expectancy and a renewed fervor to carry out our shared commitments. This year's theme, Libraries Building Roads, Readers, Opportunities, Advocacies, Development, Sustainability, redefines for each one of us how we can empower libraries to come more alive with ever-growing relevance by following the blueprint of the ROADS acronym. The acronym ROADS so neatly encapsulates the vital roles and targeted goals of LIS month. 1. The readers of our collection of books and other materials, our stakeholders. 2. Opportunities we find and cultivate along the way, doors which we may yet open to further our cause. 3. Our advocacies, which give proper basis and impetus to our initiatives. 4. Development, which is our desired end result. And 5. Sustainability, which will ensure the continuity of all that we.
My warmest greetings to the National Library of the Philippines, the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, National Committee on Libraries and Information.
Thank you, Honorable Granda. And now, we will hear the message from the President of the Philippine Librarians Association Incorporated, Ms. Emma M. Ray.
My warmest greetings to the National Library of the Philippines, the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, National Committee on Libraries and Information Services, and the Library and Information Services Month Committee for unfailingly organizing the celebration of the Library and Information Services Month on its 31st year. Congratulations on this year's theme, Libraries Building Roads, Readers, Opportunities, Advocacies, Development, Sustainability. The theme honors and recognizes the role libraries play in our society, building roads not only for readers, opportunities, advocacies, development, and sustainability. Libraries are roads to knowledge and culture. They support readers in all walks of life, from zero-age learners to lifelong learners, through services they render in education, recreation, economic, and social activities. Libraries build roads leading to their spaces to offer their readers a place for societal and cultural pursuits, and where myriad of activities offering opportunities for learning, literacy, and education, cultural activities abound. The present pandemic situation did not prevent libraries from serving their publics. Libraries creatively paved the roads for remote services, reaching out to their publics through outreach programs and advocacies to stay relevant. They serve as checkpoints in information dissemination and to some extent avenues in health-related activities. We also see roads paved for democratization of information and knowledge. We see bridges to connect people to knowledge and information sources, and thoroughfares of information and awareness services to communities for empowerment. More importantly are the roads to the future, as librarians and libraries help ensure an authentic record of knowledge created and accumulated by past generations, to advance research and human knowledge and preserve the world's cumulative knowledge and heritage for future generations and sustainability. During this month-long celebration, let us also pay tribute and respect to our librarians and information professionals who are the original builders behind our libraries and information centers. We should salute our brave and noble founders who not only built roads, but pillars, and who may have trod unpaved roads fighting for our recognition as professionals that we are now. We should also recognize our present and future librarians for choosing to continue the journey of librarianship to new highways. On behalf of the Philippine Librarians Association Incorporated, again, my deepest congratulations to the NLP and NCCA and LIS for leading the celebration for the past 31 years. To all LIS professionals celebrating our momentous month, mabuhay!
Thank you so much, Ms. Emma Ray. We have also compiled video messages from other library organizations, such as the FLY Region 12, the Medical and Health Librarians Association of the Philippines, or the MALAP, also the Philippine Association of Teachers of Library and Information Science, or the PATLS, and the Association of Librarians in the Public Sector, or ALPS, and also from the Association of Schools in Muntinlupa, Parañaque, and Las Piñas, or Munparla. So these messages will be posted in the official Facebook account of the National Library of the Philippines. And this time, let's hear a message from one of our partners, Attorney Maria Antoinette C. Velasco Aliones, the Chief Operating Officer of the Tourism Promotions Board.
To our National Library of the Philippines Director, Mr. Cesar Gilbert Q. Adriano, the Chairperson of American Library Association and UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals Task Force, Ms. Loida Garcia Febo, Head of the NCCA National Committee on Libraries and Information Services, Ms. Salvacion Arlante, and to the President of the Librarians Association of the Philippines, Ms. Emma M. Ray, as well as all the librarians and library staff and all the delegates, participants, viewers through the NLP Facebook and YouTube in this Library and Information Services Month celebration. Please accept the warmest greetings on behalf of the Tourism Promotions Board from me to you. Congratulations on your effort to stage this, even though virtually. This really signals that kahit papaano, slowly but surely, we are gradually seeing normalcy in the next normal, in the way we are conducting our activities, our events, and in particular, this special celebration of a niche, no, part of our culture and life as a people, as a society, which is the importance of library and information services. I grew up in Naga City, in Bicol, where I attended a public school for my elementary studies. And I recall that we actually did not have a decent library in the school. So for the whole 6 years of my primary education, I was actually longing to find that haven as a young pupil, to find books that I could not otherwise access elsewhere, particularly at home, because growing up with limited financial resources, we hardly had books. And I personally, I'm a huge, voracious reader. So that is one of my missed part of my childhood growing up na wala akong nakitang library sa eskwelahan na pinapasukan ko. Although merong public library yung syudad, pero limitado din kung ano yung mga nandoon at kung ano yung mga pwede mong mahiram. And I had the fortune of gaining a scholarship to the Colegio de Santa Isabel, now Universidad de Santa Isabel, also in Naga, where since it's a private school, the resources were better in terms of being able to access a library with a wide selection of books and materials and other resources for information. So you can, you guess it right, how much fun I had using my library card. So meron pa tayong mga library card noon, di ba? Pag humihiram ka ng libro, and usually I would return the books I borrow even before the due date, because I'm a fast reader, so I would finish reading all of them, and that allows me to borrow a new set of books. And then for college, I went to UP Diliman, where, wow, there are like how many floors in the main library, and each college or a department actually in their separate buildings had their respective mini libraries or resource centers. So that was really haven. That was heaven and haven for me who loves to read. And having gone around the country, this reality that I described to you, public schools not having enough decent library facilities, still remains to be true. And some cities or local government units not having the capacity or enough resources to prioritize putting up public libraries for children and the youth is still there. It's a reality. It's a concrete challenge that we all need to work on. And so on that note, I actually want to commend you for pursuing your vocation, your profession in this area, because having libraries, it's like parang siya yung brain ng society, ng lipunan. Yun ang nagko-contribute para mapalawak ang kaalaman, ang kakayahan, at ang kahusayan ng isang komunidad at ng mga taong nandito. I also commend you for the very apt theme that you have put together for this celebration. Libraries as roads, which actually stand for readers, opportunities, advocacies, development, and sustainability. So, puntahan natin yung reader, yung word na readers sa inyong theme. Kung merong forever, yon, isa po yon, readers. Readers are forever needed in all societies which aspire to continuously develop, progress, and grow as one group of people. In fact, kami sa Tourism Promotions Board, since we market and promote tourism, sa karanasan natin, makikita nyo na kung marunong kang magbasa, malayo yung mararating mo saan ka bang pumunta. No? At hindi ka maliligaw. Maligaw ka man at marunong kang magbasa, makakabalik ka pa rin kung saan ka talaga papunta at mararating mo ang iyong destinasyon. In the current context of organizations and globally, when you look at corporations, enterprises, you will also note that a key competence of leaders and managers is that ability to read. So, effective managers and leaders are good readers. I don't know with you, but ako po, sa aking bahay, yung mesa ko, ayan, may 2 librong nakapatong. Tapos pag pumunta ka dyan sa may corridor, lahat ng parte ng bahay may libro. Bakit? That's one way of me encouraging my children to read. And in fact, if you come to my house and visit, and which, yung ibang mga kaibigan ko pumupunta dito, sabi niya parang library yung bahay mo. Humihiram sila ng libro at most of the time hindi na nasusoli. Pero sa akin, okay lang yun kasi books are not meant to be collected, they are meant to be read. So, sige, pahiram. Hindi bumalik. Hopefully, pinapahiram din nila sa iba. Because as I said, readers are forever needed for societies to thrive, for people to continue to grow as one. And then, opportunities. Nako, pag ikaw ay mahilig magbasa, it affords you the opportunity to be in different places. Pwede ka mag-bilocate at the same time. Hindi ba? And then, it allows you, kahit wala kang time machine, it allows you to be in a different time zone or era just by reading novels or books that actually narrate stories from different centuries and all that. So, it affords you the opportunity to journey. And I hope, alam ko marami sa inyo nag-Netflix, nag-TikTok, pero kailangan talagang maibalik yung hilig at habit ng pagbabasa, lalo na ngayong panahon ng pandemya na karamihan nasa bahay, para nakakapagbiyahe ka pa din habang nagbabasa. Reading also affords us that creativity to imagine, and not just to imagine our aspirations, but to imagine the kind of future that we want for ourselves, the future generations in our country. To imagine the possibilities of what there can be, having read that elsewhere in the world this has happened, a best practice is being done somewhere. And specific to people, then the opportunity is that it affords us enough material, reference to grow as persons and leaders to make a difference in our communities and in our country. Libraries and the love for reading are good platforms for pursuing shared advocacies, like the fostering of literacy programs, or batting to have safe learning environments, even conducting research that contributes to society, and most importantly, us being able to take a collective strong stand against fake news and false information. Then, of course, we contribute to development. In an ever-changing world, we do our best to deliver services and programs that meet the information needs of a changing and increasingly complex society. We aim for a sustainable future through you, our dear librarians and managers of information services. Because that world, that ideal world we all aspire to have is a world where we can freely and responsibly share data and knowledge that support informed research, which in turn allows us to guide modern solutions to modern problems, be they local, global, or covering different spheres of our lives as people. Libraries pave the way for the achievement of the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals as they provide public and equitable access to information and knowledge. We extend our reach to the nation's poorest residents living in remote areas We relay information that is helpful in research, that contributes to better implementation of national social and economic strategies and programs. We advocate for literacy and numeracy, and in this way, we narrow the digital divide. Now more than ever, the role of libraries is crucial in helping us attain SDGs as part of the UN 2030 agenda and integrated into our very own Philippine Development Plan. By showcasing sustainable building techniques and services, by promoting understanding and action around sustainability in communities, and by supporting new research into sustainability, we emphasize the essence of libraries as road builders towards that sustainable future. Naalala niyo ba yung Beauty and the Beast? Yan. Si Belle is one of my favorite Disney characters, no? Dahil sa kanyang attribute of being a voracious reader, her love for learning, and her love for books. And so I hope that as we put in our solidarity with you in celebrating this month as the Library and Information Services Month, I wish you all the best in this endeavor and in the future ones that you will do. And I hope and look forward to more opportunities for the Tourism Promotions Board to work with you in this very, very important nation-building endeavor. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you, Attorney Velasco Aliones, and to our guests for always supporting the annual activities of the LIS Month celebration. So earlier, we had a technical problem regarding one of the messages of our guests. So now, I will take this opportunity so that everyone can rewatch the message from the chairperson of the Board for Librarians, Honorable Yolanda C. Granda. A round of applause, please.
Warm greetings from the Professional Regulatory Board for Librarians. Welcome to the virtual opening ceremonies of the 31st Library and Information Services Month. Never do we miss this time of the year to get together, though virtually during these years that we are still battered by the pandemic challenge. Our annual gathering, be it face-to-face or virtual, serves to create expectancy and a renewed fervor to carry out our shared commitments. This year's theme, Libraries Building Roads, Readers, Opportunities, Advocacies, Development, Sustainability, redefines for each one of us how we can empower libraries to come more alive with ever-growing relevance by following the blueprint of the ROADS acronym. The acronym ROADS so neatly encapsulates the vital roles and targeted goals of LIS Month. 1. The readers of our collection of books and other materials, our stakeholders. 2. Opportunities we find and cultivate along the way, doors which we may yet open to further our cause. 3. Our advocacies, which give proper basis and impetus to our initiatives. 4. Development, which is our desired end result. And 5. Sustainability, which will ensure the continuity of all that we ever hope for and work for. Let us re-energize our minds and bodies and recall that all these aforementioned 5 key concepts will bring us closer, will knit us tightly together in attaining the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, under the United Nations 2030 Agenda, which is now an integral part of the Philippine Development Plan. Let us note that we have also integrated the SDGs to our country's Ambisyon Natin 2040 platform. May we never lose faith and resolve in our commitments. Let us remain unfazed by the challenges that beset our world, our country, our community. Let us keep a firm grip on our advocacies, guided by our roadmap that would lead us towards the pursuit of our set goals as librarians, ever mindful and dynamic in spotting relevant opportunities that will propel us faster and farther towards our desired development in our role as the gatekeepers of our nation's repository of knowledge. Development that will be sustainable. In closing, I wish everyone well. May we all remain healthy and fully protected for us to be able to discharge our roles as responsible librarians. Let us keep our spirits high as we joyously celebrate this nationwide virtual launch, graciously led by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, National Committee on Library and Information Services, and the National Library of the Philippines. Thank you, everyone, and a pleasant month of celebrating our momentous event as librarians. Mabuhay!
All right. Thank you, Honorable Ganda. Again, we would also like to thank our speakers who virtually came to the Zoom room to participate in the opening ceremonies. Okay? May I request everyone to open their cameras for a photo opportunity with our guests, especially Director Adriano, Assistant Director Ed Quiroz, Miss Sally Arlante, Professor Salvacion M. Arlante, Miss Emma M. Ray, Honorable Yolanda Granda. We also have from our partners of World Vision, Sir Jomel, and of course our keynote speaker, Miss Loida Garcia Febo. Yeah.
I think friend Director Adriano is there.
Okay, technical committee, are we ready to take the picture? Okay, how many slides do we have? Okay, one slide. No, smile, everybody. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you so much.
Friend, baka pwede natin i-request si Director Adriano na mag-hi sa ating mga participants.
Oh, yeah.
Sir, nandyan po ba kayo, Director?
Can we highlight our guest? Good morning,
Ayan, si
Director.
Good morning, Director. Naka-mute po kayo. Ayan po.
Okay.
Okay na po, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Ayan.
Okay.
Maraming salamat po, sir.
Also, may we request Professor Salvacion Arlante. I think she's also here with us. Can we highlight Professor Arlante?
And si Miss Emma rin yata nandiyan.
Yes. Together with Miss Emma M. Ray and Honorable Yolanda Granda. Yeah. Can we also add from our partner, Sir Jomel from World Vision.
Hello, Ma'am Emma.
And of course, our keynote speaker is here, Ms. Loida Garcia Fib.
Hi, Miss Loida. Okay. Okay, a photo opportunity. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Okay, thank you so much po, Director, Ma'am Emma and Ms. Loida. Bye, sir. Friend, ang dami pala nating guest dito, no? Puno pala ang Zoom natin. Naka 100 participants siya.
Wow. Yeah, we have representatives from different libraries and library associations. We have representatives from, let's read, from, of course, NLP. And then ang ating mga co-employees at members of the committee.
Meron tayong friends from UED SAA. Sila Sir Kevin.
We also have friends from Aptly. Yan, alam ko, they joined the Best Online Activities by Library Association. Hello.
Also, we have guests from Maasin City, Southern Leyte.
We also have guests from Ateneo de Naga University Press. Hello po to our friends from Ateneo de Naga University Press.
Hi din po sa mga friends natin from PGLL and Bayambang Municipal Library.
And hello. We also have friends from, this is a new partner from us, DOST FNRI. Hello, Sir Dexter. And morning.
Hi din po sa mga friends natin from Alcala Municipal Library.
We also have, representatives from our mother institution, the NCCA. Hello po. Yan, si Miss Aileen Rudy. Hi, Miss Aileen.
And also from San Manuel Municipal Library and the Bupan City Public Library.
Okay. Thank you to our friends. Thank you for your support in this opening ceremony of the Library and Information Services Month. At this juncture, let us hear a serenade to be performed by an award-winning a cappella group. This group consists of 5 undergraduate students who all share a common passion for the contemporary a cappella scene. The group was founded in 2016 by students from UP Diliman under the College of Music, and its name is inspired by the word concord, which simply means harmony. The group has shown how harmonious they sound together, not just in a cappella, but as singers of great versatility. The repertoire includes genres such as classical, jazz, OPM, and pop. Since the group was established, Concords has won a cappella competitions in the local and international scene. Concords was awarded champion in the A Cappella Championship 2018 in Singapore, A Cappella Open International in 2018, and National Customer's Choice Annual Awards in January 2020 and July 2021. Here are Colleen Herschel de Guzman, soprano, Mika Dorotea Tupas, alto, Joey Mark Panizal, tenor, Calvin T. Capacete, bass, and Val Dominic Gagatiga as the vocal percussionist. A round of applause, everyone, for Concords.
Warm greetings from the Professional Regulatory Board for Librarians. Well,
that someday our wishes will somehow soon come true and last forever. We'll bring a bright tomorrow, full of love, full of hope, full of joy.
Return to a land called Paraiso, a place where dying river ends. No birds dare fly over Paraiso. No space allows them to endure this world as green as the air, the grass that's never there. And if I could see a single bird, what a joy. I try to write some verse and create a simple song to be heard by the rest of the world.
I live in this land called Paraiso, in the house made of cardboard floors and walls. I learned to be free in Paraiso, free to claim anything I see. Matching rags for my clothes, plastic bags for the cold.
And if empty cans were all I have, what a joy. I never fight to take someone else's coins and live with fear like the rest of the boys.
Paraiso, help me make a stand. Paraiso, take me by the hand. Paraiso, make the world understand that if I could see a single bird, what a joy. This tired and hungry land could expect some truth and hope and respect from the rest of the world. I dream that one day, some truth and hope and respect. A better world. I see this.
Thank you so much, the Concords. That was really a great performance. Thank you for sharing your talents with all of us. And this time, may I call on again my partner, the chairperson of the Operations Subcommittee, Mr. Jose Tomasito and Fernando, to introduce our keynote speaker for today.
Okay, thank you so much to my partner, Rica Jane Marcelo. And let me introduce to you our keynote speaker. She is an international library consultant, expert in library services to diverse populations and human rights, president of the American Library Association from 2018 and 2019. At IFLA, she was part of the governing board from 2013 to 2017, co-founder of New Professionals, two-term member and expert resource person of freedom of access to information and freedom of expression, a two-term member of continuing professional development and workplace learning, and currently the CPDWL consultant Info Coordinator of the Management of Library Association section. She is also currently the chair of the ALA UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals Task Force and chair of the Women's Issues in Librarianship. She has taught in 28 countries. Wow! Born, raised, and educated in Puerto Rico. Ladies and gentlemen, a virtual clap to Ms. Loida Garcia Febo, our keynote speaker. Ms. Loida, can we request you to open your video so we can highlight you?
It is open.
Oh, it is open.
It says that I'm not authorized. Well, now I am. Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Very good. Well, good morning to everyone from New York, from this evening here. The Philippines are very special to me, and so I'm very, very happy to be with all of you in this celebration. I remember last year we were part of this celebration as well with the task force from ALA on the 2030 agenda for the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Before I continue, I would like to bring my appreciation to the National Library of the Philippines, its director, the committee organizing this wonderful event, the presidents of the library associations and their leadership, the authorities for the invitation to join this event and for the very warm welcome. I always have a very special place in my heart for the Philippines, and I would love to visit again, be there with all of you in person. I am from Puerto Rico, and we have a shared history, and even the geography and the weather is very alike. So let me start sharing my screen. It says that I cannot share. Okay, now, thank you. All right, wonderful. Great. So the theme for today, my theme for today is your theme. It is libraries building roads, readers, opportunities, advocacies, and development and sustainability. And this is all about working together to help our countries, and in this case, the Philippines, achieve the SDGs in light of the changes libraries are facing. We are into what the UN has called the Decade of Action, and this decade ends in 2030, so we are already about 8.5 years into that last decade. This is a decisive decade for our world. What is happening today? Our world is impacted by COVID-19, climate change, and technological transformation. This is a momentous time for the libraries and the communities we serve. And today, I want to dedicate my time to put an emerging topic in your radar. So as you go including the SDGs into your library's priorities and strategies, keep in mind the new developments brought forward by the digital transformation our world is experiencing. We all want a better world. Libraries are helping to achieve development for a better world by building roads, as your theme says, right? Readers, opportunities, advocates, development, sustainability. Through programs and services that promote culture, equity, justice, and environmental resilience. Libraries are also facing challenges related to digital connectivity, broadband, and digital transformation. And why are libraries important in delivering the SDGs? Libraries are development accelerators. Libraries play an important and unique role by providing access to information that can help eradicate hunger, improve people's education, increase equity in cities, and help the prospects of people in all areas of their lives. What has changed in our world since the pandemic? And we are still in the pandemic. More online engagement, virtual engagement, Zoom meetings, conversations with families, texting on WhatsApp with everyone from friends to coworkers. There is a digital transformation happening, but not everyone in the world is part of it. 3.7 billion people from this planet still need to be connected. Digital connectivity is not at its full potential in many regions of the world. Although corporations and librarians have explored digital transformation for some years before the pandemic accelerated this process, throwing us all into it almost at once. Digital connectivity is about access to fast and reliable internet connection, fixed or mobile, which enables users to benefit from smart and digital services. It is also called the fourth utility, an everyday necessity alongside water, gas, and electricity. Digital connectivity fuels digital transformation, and this is impacting the way people read. In some areas in our planet, people are reading more on their tech devices. The opportunities of all types of libraries provide to patrons to read. There are many more opportunities now for research, to discover information. The way we advocate for our libraries has been impacted as well. For instance, the American Library Association developed a kit to advocate for libraries virtually. Therefore, we can share the value of our libraries and the way they are helping communities achieve development in a virtual way. It also impacts all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and the promotion of sustainability. As per the United Nations, digital technologies have a key role to play by enabling and accelerating our efforts to achieve these goals. They have said there is a problem. The clock is ticking towards 2030, and the world is nowhere close to achieve the SDGs. While the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, are the what, the United Nations has said, the what the world is aiming, the United Nations has said that digital technology will be central to shaping the how in terms of reaching this destination of 2030 and accelerating action at scale. Overall, I like the digital strategy of the United Nations Development Program, anchored in the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. I believe it is of benefit for libraries to consider including it in their strategy as well. Invest in new learning opportunities to create a common understanding of digital concepts and capabilities across the organization. Build a global network of digital champions who will identify needs and support their colleagues in utilizing digital technologies. Design and implement rapid digital demonstration projects in all areas of our work to demonstrate the potential of these technologies to both our staff and our partners. Digital connectivity is allowing libraries and companies and governments to go through a digital transformation where information professionals and librarians are the human bridge and are leading the change. MIT, the libraries from MIT, has said that this crisis, the one we're going through worldwide, demands an accelerated transformation of its library plan into a platform for the creation, discovery, dissemination of use, and preservation of knowledge, fully open and equitable, accessible to solve complex problems in the service of humanity. The digital roadmap of the National Library of France is a good model and works like a one-stop shop where patrons can access different services from one screen. They include areas such as digital collections, data infrastructures, collections processing, avenues and perspectives, technologies, exploring and sharing resources, metadata management, and catalogs. The vision for the future includes being ever more accessible, responsible, and ethical approaches towards renewed catalogs and cataloging, and the foundations of digital heritage of the 21st century. A library devoted to long-term digital preservation worldwide. The Digital Library Forum, another example, is happening tomorrow, and it's all about digital preservation. CILIP, the Library Association in the UK, England, is also exploring how the future of digital transformation what is the status with the research report, the impact of AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation, and robotics on the information professions. So how is the situation looking? We have digital transformation, which depends on connectivity. So that is the digital connectivity. Then we have the factor about more library patrons, and this is worldwide. It doesn't mean that it's in a specific region, but overall. So that we have more library patrons visiting online than in person. This aspect will increase dramatically in the next years. We have access concerns, copyright, licensing, IPR, and there are also skills and competences needed, including algorithm literacy. And then we have personal values too. Let's think about data ethics and privacy, for example. So we have a very interesting scenario in front of us if we are working towards the future and how we are creating the future today. And this is from the LIS Center for the Future of Libraries. But before I continue, I have questions for you today, not to answer them, for you to think about and bring back to your colleagues. How can we leverage benefits of digital libraries and knowledge collaboration to advance sustainable mobility? And this is intrinsically related to your local realities. How can knowledge platform centers help users to take confident decisions? It all comes full circle. Libraries support development efforts, and these development efforts include sustainable cities and sustainable mobility. Everything we do at libraries is linked to and can positively impact our daily life. Therefore, how can we forge roads towards the library of the future? One way is to identify signals from the future. What is changing in our environment, in the technological landscape? What are we reading, researching? What are we analyzing? Forecast is important. Combine those signals into forecast. How the future, tomorrow perhaps, will look when we combine signals we have identified. What would those impact or change? And then we have the future. What are the various scenarios we can recreate about this possible future, including signals, library services, and our patrons? How can we leverage all this information to provide agile, flexible, user-friendly services for our patrons? Services that will help our communities move towards development, to better education and lifelong learning of the people. Some of the recent signals, changes that have become more prevalent and sort of ubiquitous include telemedicine. It's a big change where people can see the doctor from their living rooms at home. The new services offered by libraries reflect technological trends. Libraries are part of society, and all trends can inform the services provided. Many trends are helping librarians to reach users. For instance, Los Angeles Public Library. Librarians who are available live on the library's Facebook page to answer reference questions and speak to users connecting from home in Spanish. These services mirror that of telemedicine when services are provided online. The newest librarian at the University of Oklahoma is a robot, and its name is Busy. It's a chatbot with which students can chat for reference questions. Automatization. Libraries are using machines to provide books in a contactless way. Automatization is also impacting our cities. Smart cities. Many new resources can also be interlinked to the city's new priorities and how they relate to industries, which invariably will be part of workforce changes and which will be impacted by changes in information we have mentioned earlier. More data, more services, more interactions between the two. But technologies alone do not determine results. They must be adopted in particular social, economic, and political contexts that influence their development and use. Therefore, it is useful that we analyze and create resources to help our communities during this pandemic based on our socio-economic political context. The social inclusion of the community is the consolidation of democracy. In order to achieve full digital transformation, an organization then must be focused on these elements: vision, the organization, the insight, and technology. And before I move on, I would like to highlight this picture from 2008. My first and only time in the Philippines, teaching for 10 South Asian countries on behalf of the free access to information and freedom of expression of IPLA. Wonderful experience. We also need to identify key areas to digitize, including strategy and technology. Consider customer experience during your digital transformation efforts. Any changes to internal processes can have huge impact in customer service or in your library user services. Drive change and embrace flexibility. Apply digital empathy, emotion, cognition, compassion to enhance user experience of technologies. And leave no one behind. We must change paradigms, promote policy transformation, supporting multi-sectoral alliances is key. Embrace efforts as multidimensional processes and secure a seat at the table where policies are discussed to show the value of our proposals, the value of libraries. Therefore, when we strategize about the Sustainable Development Goals, let's keep in mind the massive changes our world is experiencing related to digital transformation, and that it is still about people. It is people-centered. Libraries definitely can promote and support digital connectivity to narrow gender gaps, lift women and girls from poverty, and address inequality exclusion. And what is the role of librarians implementing the SDGs? Well, librarians are key, and libraries are key players bettering literacy, digital and media literacy, and lifelong learning, promoting right to access to information, and promoting digital inclusion for all. And I also want to mention that it is vital for librarians to understand the UN 2030 agenda and the current situation of each one of the communities you serve at academic, public, or school libraries, all types of libraries. We need to also recognize how each one of the SDGs are aligned with the organization's goals, your organization's goals and strategies, or still need to be developed. We have to be strategic. For example, Scotland Public Libraries will focus on some of the SDGs. For instance, they will focus on the goals 1, 3, 4, 8, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17. We have that on the screen. Which ones your library can focus on? That's to think. We must identify stories and examples of the impact of libraries in the community and increase awareness at all levels of society about the critical contribution libraries can make. What is the value of the library, the return on investment? Then it is very important that we believe that the SDGs can make a difference. As librarians, we need to have that true conviction and real commitment. That's a must. We know that libraries contribute to each one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We must introduce them to patrons and to elected officials like Los Angeles Public Library has done, introducing them to the mayor. When advocating for libraries, they're telling their stories about how the library is helping the community and the city to meet the SDGs, because libraries must be included in the decision-making of the city. Los Angeles Public Library used a chart that we created at our task force from the ALA 2030 SDGs, and John Zabo, the library director, was part of our task force, and they matched their services with the Sustainable Development Goals, with the 17 goals. And this is a very good exercise to determine your library's course of action. And you can use the downloadable chart from the ALA's task force, and it's available free of charge on the website on the screen to share your library's programs and services with the elected officials and also with the community. You can customize it and add your library logo, address, and name. Also, look at the current services your library is providing. Do they correspond to some of the goals? I will think that all of them correspond to at least one goal. If that is the case, then you are off to a great start to align your library priorities with the goals. We can and must work with the SDGs in the library. And this is also part of advocacy, because the SDGs provide a valuable framework for library advocacy. SDGs can take us to different places to start new conversations and demonstrate the dynamism of libraries, and that is advocacy. We can communicate the real impact libraries have. We need to be able to communicate the library's contributions to individuals and organizations that can influence decision making. And we also need to be able to communicate with our own organization and across the wider community, internal groups, and also outside partners. By continuing to help our communities to achieve development, libraries are also contributing to the social capital of cities. Libraries are strengthening the central fiber of our societies and contributing to the social and cultural capital of our societies through the work they do daily, providing information in different ways and formats. And we need that to help people. This is part of librarianship post-COVID-19. We need people opening doors for someone, returning lost items to a stranger, giving someone directions, and any other beneficial interaction between people, even if they don't know each other. And books show that. Librarians include that in storytelling, time for children. Author talks hosted by libraries might include that as well. Together with family and perhaps faith institutions, libraries are supporting society and the networks of relationships among people who live and work in a particular society, enabling that society to function effectively. The world needs an agenda that revives economies and brings people in from all walks of life and margins of society to support democracy and peace. And that is what libraries can also help accomplish by building roads. We are the ones, you are the ones we have been waiting for. Libraries can position librarians as key players at national and global levels to generate change, because everyone needs a united world, not a divided one. And everyone deserves basic needs, dignity, and a fair chance at success. All of these will help us to rebuild a just and equitable society. So let's continue working together towards these goals.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Loida Garcia Febo. And at this juncture, to award the Certificate of Appreciation, may I call on again the Director of the National Library of the Philippines, Director Cesar Gilbert Q. Adriano, Professor Salvacion M. Arlante, the head of the NCCA entries, and the chairperson of this year's LIS celebration, Mr. Chad Aaron Diaz.
Sino ba? Hindi na ba si Ma'am Arlante?
Let me read the citation. The National Commission for Culture and the Arts, the National Committee on Libraries and Information Services, or the NCCA entries, and the National Library of the Philippines award this Certificate of Appreciation to Loida Garcia Febo, the chairperson of the ALA UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals Task Force. In grateful acknowledgement for sharing her expertise and experience as keynote speaker during the 31st Library and Information Services Month opening ceremonies. Given this third day of November 2021 during the opening ceremonies of the 31st Library and Information Services Month, with the theme Libraries, Building Roads, Readers, Opportunities, Advocacies, Development, Sustainability, via Zoom and NLP Facebook account. Signed, Ms. Salvacion M. Arlante, head of the NCCA entries, Mr. Chad Aaron E. Diaz, the chairperson of the 31st LISM, and Director Cesar Gilbert Q. Adriano, Director of the National Library of the Philippines. Give her a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Loida Garcia Febo. Okay. And again, thank you, Ms. Loida Garcia Febo. At this point, we would like to present the programs and activities prepared by the committee for the whole month of November. Here is the LISM calendar of activities.
Okay, let's start with November 3. The calendar also includes entries from the best online activities by library associations, starting with the aptly reaching out at 45. And yan, kasabay ng ating LIS opening ceremony which started at 10 a.m.
And on November 3 to 15, it will be the posting of best online activity by library association.
On November 5, we have the Book Spine Poetry Deliberations at 10 a.m.
November 6 naman, sabay po ang Let's Pop It Poems of Peace to Write, Read, and Jam Along, to be facilitated by the Philippine Association of School Librarians Incorporated, and the Introduction to Libraries webinar by the Rizal Library Ambassadors.
From November 8 to 11, we have the posting of Book Spine Poetry Contest entries.
Also, on November 8 to 12, will be the posting of Makti Vlog na Libre Lang May Papremyo Pa contest entries.
On November 9 to 10, we have the 3rd Convention of Provincial Libraries in the Philippines, hosted by NLP Public Libraries Division.
And on November 9 to 11, the Network of Academic Law Librarians Incorporated will be hosting the Librarians as Agents of Change in Legal Education, reinventing the culture of service through information technology.
On November 10, we have the PNU Lisaa Conference for Library Professionals, or PULP, on libraries paving roads toward global goals, hosted by the Philippine Normal University Library and Information Science Alumni Association.
And also, on November 10 and 13, will be the LIS Avant-Garde by the UA Clip and Bulsu Bliss.
On November 11, we have the Paligsahan sa Online Balagtasan by the Association of Librarians and Paraprofessionals of Zamboanga Peninsula Incorporated.
And on November 12, will be the Share a Book deliberation at 1:30 p.m. and also the deadline of submission for the Book Face and Cutest Photo Contest and the virtual storytelling on Facebook Live by the City of Ilagan Tourism Office.
November 13 is the Metamorphosis, Transforming Perceptions of Librarianship, an online open forum hosted by the PUP Library and Information Science Student Organization and the Booklat webinar series by the UP Library and Information Science Students Association.
And on November 15, it will be the deliberation of the Maki Vlog na Libre Lang May Papremyo Pa at 10 o'clock in the morning.
November 16 to 17 is a webinar on public speaking and personality development, key to career excellence at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Na November 17 to 19, the NLP Reference Division will be hosting the Capacity Building in Library Services, Reframing Libraries, Setting the New Normal.
November 18 is the Book Face and Cutest Photos Contest deliberations at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m.
And also on November 19 will be the deliberation of the best online activities by LIS Association at 1 p.m. and the posting of book face and cutest photo contest entries.
On November 20, we have the Live Synergy, yielding positive outcomes through library partnerships by the UP Library Science Alumni Association Incorporated.
And on November 22, the NLP Public Libraries Division will be hosting the Women Writing on the Margins, the fictional works of Grazia de Leda and Magdalena Halondon.
November 23, we have the orientation of newly affiliated public libraries and online learning on essential skills for public library personnel Batch 5, hosted by the NLP Public Libraries Division.
And of course, on November 24-30, it will be the National Book Week celebration with the theme Outcomes, Outreach, Outstanding, Libraries Beyond Boundaries.
On November 30, we have the LISM virtual awarding and closing ceremonies. Also included here is the launching of the Impact Stories Volume 3 at 1:30 p.m. So there you have it, the lineup of activities for LIS month. To everyone, we look forward to your support in these programs and events. To formally close our program, may we call on the Assistant Director of the National Library of the Philippines, Assistant Director Edgardo B. Quiros.
Hello, good afternoon. Now it's already our second year celebrating the LIS month in a current situation. But yet again, we have showed that we can cope up with the pandemic. The situation is easing up, and there are a lot of realizations many of us learned. The community, the library, the local government, the national government, and even the international groups had their own experience. Let us take a look at these insights and learn from them to improve ourselves, to improve our services to our communities, and let's be more participative in making things better in the coming days. For our 2021 celebration, we thank our partners, NCCA, World Vision, the Department of Tourism. Maraming salamat din po sa ating mga speakers at yung organizers ng conference that the opening this year and the whole month celebration chaired by Mr. Chad. We hope that this one-month celebration can show to others, to our communities, that the libraries thrive. The libraries can be the roads, even during the pandemic, even in times of crisis, the libraries can thrive. While we realize some of our weaknesses as individuals, as libraries, and as members of the community, both in the local and the national government, we also have learned that we can survive by helping each other, by working together in achieving the same goal that the library has been doing in the past years. Hopefully, the things that we have realized, like lugaw is essential, can be translated to our work in the libraries. That the libraries is an essential component of our communities, not just our offices, but our individual clients as well. Linking the libraries to other institutions, like being part of the Tech for Ed of the Department of Information and Communication Technologies, being part of the activities not just in our localities, participating in other activities involving not just at the local but national and international parts as well. Let's move forward, celebrate not just for this month, but continue working on with providing better services to our communities. Thank you, and good morning to all.
Thank you so much, Assistant Director, for the closing message. And now may we request again everyone to open their cameras for another photo opportunity. So tayo na pong lahat. So ilang... Ayan, jump pack tayo. Ang dami nating friends. Oh. Okay. I-access na po ba ang lahat sa ating video? Okay. Technical, ready na po? Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, next slide. Smile lang po tayong lahat. Hindi po natin alam kung nasang slide tayo. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, one more. Okay, nakuha na daw po lahat. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being with us today. But before we end our program, of course, we would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners and sponsors. Can we flash the screen for the partners and sponsors? Okay, so we have number 1, the Cultural Center of the Philippines, the Tourism Promotions Board Philippines, and the House of Representatives Early Childhood and Development Center.
Also, we would like to thank, of course, our sponsors, the World Vision and the Vibal Group Incorporated. And also, we would like to acknowledge and give thanks to our association, library organizations who are with us today. I hope wala akong makalimutan, no? Ang APLI ay nandito, palakpakan po natin. Ang PATELS, ang ALPS, ang PASLI, ang PGLL, ang PNU Lisaa, ASLP, UE Lisaa, ang FLY, ang UPSLAA, ang Monparlas, at ang MALA. Sana wala po kami makalimutan. Meron po ba? Thank you so much po sa pagsama sa amin sa ating opening ceremony. And also, of course, thank you also to our interpreters. Napakagaling po ng ating mga interpreters. Si Miss Nati P. Natividad and si Miss Feby S. Sevilla of DEP and SURF Training Services. Palakpakan po natin sila. Maraming salamat po. And of course, to our participants, an evaluation link po is posted for today's event. And it is already in the chat box. Nandiyan na pala siya. We would like to hear your comments, suggestions, and feedback so that we can improve our future programs.
Also, like and share LISM postings so we can have a wider audience reach. And don't forget to use the hashtags hashtag 31st LISM, hashtag LIS Month 2021, and hashtag Libraries Building Roads. Again, we welcome you to this year's LIS Month celebration. We are your hosts, Jose Tomasito and Fernando.
And ako naman po si Rica Jane Marcelo.
Leaving you with this year's mantra.
Together,
let's build
roads.
Ayan.
Until next time,
stay safe
everyone.
So before we leave, we will leave you with the videos from the Tourism Promotions Board. Thank you so much.
Every day, the Philippines does more than wait. Putting together new adventures. And experiences for you to try. We're making our sites better for you to see. Cooking up new dishes for you to taste. And preparing cultural discoveries for you to feel. And we're not stopping. Because we know that you deserve more. We can't wait to welcome you.
Kumusta uwi mo dyan, anak?
Aking sinta